Sign in. Happy to have you all here. Margaret, great to see you. Excellent, great to see the numbers all coming in. Welcome everybody. We'll get started in just a minute or two, so please make sure you go into the chat and sign in. Feel free to scroll through the gallery and you can see everybody. Hey, Scott Fisher, good to see you. Steve West, I owe you an email. Kim, good to see you as well. Kelly. Well, I'm excited today. We have a very full meeting and we have a great speaker. She's just super and you have to be really nice to her because she is my boss. Okay, so like, great. Well, I want to welcome everybody. My name is Barb Thomas and I am the president for the 2021 Rotary year. So in my final month as your Rotary president. We have a very full meeting today, so I figure we should go ahead and get started. We start each of our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance, and so I'll ask Devin right now if he can put up our picture of the slide, and then I encourage you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Well, thank you, everyone. As we have done this entire year, we're going to start off with a few Zoom reminders and tips. I'm going to turn it over to Devin, who will provide those for us. Devin?
Yeah, thanks, President Barb. You're all old hat at this. But just a couple of reminders, if there's some background noise, we may go in and mute you. Just unmute yourself if you're ready to talk. There are a couple of things that you can use to interact. You can go to the reactions tab. You've got little hearts and little crying, laughing emojis. And the most important one is raising your hand. So if you have questions, if you have announcements, use that and you'll pop right up to the participants list. So Barbara, I can see you easily. There we go. I got one party, one crying, laughing emoji. So not exactly sure who, but people, you got it. You got it. Make sure to switch between gallery view and speaker view so that you can get the best view of either your fellow Rotarians smiling away or get a really close in on our speaker and her slides later in the program. And that. The last thing, I'll encourage everyone to sign into the chat. That helps us with attendance to know, like, are our programs reaching everyone? That's what, like, there's no attendance requirement, but it does help me specifically to know, like, which programs are hot, which programs do we want to see more of? You can always tell me that too, but the numbers speak for themselves in a lot of cases. So thank you all. Good to see you all. Back to you, President Barb.
Great, thanks so much, Devin. Just a reminder to everyone that Devin is the chair of our program committee. So if you do have an idea for an interesting program, we like to make those a variety of programs, everything from businesses to nonprofits, interesting programs that are happening in our town. Just reach out to Devin and he will work with you and try to get that scheduled. So now you will have the opportunity to practice those Zoom skills and raise your hand in the reactions tab so that you can be introduced. We welcome all of our visitors and visiting Rotarians. So I know that we have a few that are here. I'm going to turn it over to Devin to introduce some of our guests. I think one of them is Patrick Phan as well. So Devin, take it away.
Good afternoon, Maureen. This is Alyssa.
Yeah, Alyssa. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Patrick, yep, please introduce yourself. Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yes, my name is Patrick Fan. I'm a faculty member at the University of Iowa Tippie College of Business. Amy is my boss, and I work with Barbara as well. So it was one day I played with golf with Chris, and then Chris mentioned that you have this Rotary thing every Thursday noon, and then he invited me as a guest, and then Barbara just followed up with me. So it's really an honor for me to join the meeting and to get to know you guys. And I'm from China, mainland. And then I came to the States in 1998, getting my PhD from University of Michigan, and then went to Virginia Tech and taught there for 16 years. And then I joined University of Iowa in 2018, a couple years back. And then all my family now live in Iowa City. Great to meet you guys.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming. Welcome. And our doors are open. The virtual doors are always open, and we're going to be back in the Highlander starting at the beginning of July in person. So would love to have you. I am not seeing any other hands right now. If you just want to pipe up, unmute yourself, or just talk, and if there's another guest or visitor. All right, hearing none. Back to you, President Barb.
Great, thank you so much, Devin. Well, we have a number of different announcements today that I want to get to. So first of all, remember that it is June, which is dues renewal month. So if you do not want to have me or any of your other fellow board members kind of pestering you, emailing you, calling you, and reminding you to send in your dues, just take care of it right now and send in your dues, okay? If you need information on that, feel free to reach out to me. Next, I do want to just share with you, let me just do this really quickly, that we heard this week that the United Way, who has been sending out COVID-19 emails to the community throughout the entire pandemic, that they are actually now going to stop doing those emails. And so I thought that we should just say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you 112 times over, because the United Way sent out 112 emails to our community providing information, resources, and help during the pandemic. And I think many of us agree that those were great resources for us. So just a kudos out to the United Way. And as we think about the pandemic and everything that we've gone through in our community, I want to turn it over to Kim Casco, who has an announcement about another pandemic affiliated organization that came together. Kim?
Yes, thank you, Barb. And yes, thank you, United Way. Those emails were incredibly helpful over the past year. So yes, next Wednesday, June 16th, Project Better Together is having a celebration event at the Extreme Arena in Coralville from 4:30 to 6:30. It's going to be a special evening, really a community-wide, acknowledgement of everything we've been through this past year, but more so a look ahead into the future. We're going to have the city councilors and county supervisors talk about the plans that they have, what they're looking forward to. We're asking them to share their top 5 reflections list and to do it in David Letterman style. So that should be really fun to see what they come up with. We're also going to be making an announcement about some important work our organization as the Iowa City Area Business Partnership and our 3 other peer economic community development orgs. We're going to share an announcement of some work that we're going to be doing to transition from this relief emergency state to recovery mode. And so stay tuned for that. It's going to be just a great event. So please come, all are welcome. There's no RSV required, and just, drop in. I'll put the link in the chat. And then also real fast, we've got our community leadership program wrap up 30th birthday celebration tomorrow at 4 p.m. at Table. And right before that from 2 to 4, we've got a couple community service projects we're looking for help with. So I'll put those in the chat. Again, all are welcome to attend that as well. So thank you.
Great, thanks so much, Kim. So next I'll go to Eric Weiler, who has some other information about our future home. Eric?
Great, wonderful to see everybody today. I have exciting news to share. I want to encourage everyone to circle July 1st on your calendar. That is 3 weeks from today. After our club being on Zoom for the last 15 months, we are going to return to in-person meetings on July 1st, which is really exciting. As Devin mentioned, we will be at the Highlander. If you haven't stepped foot in the Highlander in the last year, it has a brand new ownership group. and they've invested millions of dollars into the facility to bring it back to its past glory. We are still going to have the Zoom option available. So if you're not comfortable attending yet, or if you're maybe not able to get to Rotary that day, you can still log in through the Zoom link. And we have an audiovisual committee behind the scenes that's working on the technology to make it happen. And quickly, I just wanted to thank a quick shout out to Bill Easton, Barb, Devin, and Ryan. And we're looking to grow our audiovisual committee. So if you're tech savvy or want to learn how to be, let us know. We were just at the Highlander yesterday. We've got a brand new Rotary podium. And I wanted to recognize and thank Steve West. West Music came over to the Highlander yesterday afternoon and tuned the piano. So all our favorite Rotary songs that we've missed will be coming back again next month. And finally, we really need all our Rotarians' help. As we plan for our return, we're going to ask our members to register in advance, and if they would like to do a lunch, to purchase their lunch in advance. And this is really important for us. We want to make sure you have a great experience. We want to make sure that the room is set perfectly. We want to make sure that we have enough food for you. So watch for more information to come in the next week or so. And please mark your calendars and hope to see you on July 1st.
So Harry, is the first song going to be Vive le Rotary?
It's going to be Smile. We thought Smile would be a great one. Yeah. But Viva la Rotary will be in the rotation this summer, I'm sure.
All right. That's great.
Yes. Yep.
That's great. Yes, July 1st. We'll be here before we know it. And so please make sure that you join us. And we look forward to actually seeing each other in person. And thanks to that committee. It was a lot of work to figure out how to use Zoom and go virtual at the beginning. And now it's a lot of work at the end for us to figure out how to do a hybrid meeting. So it will all come together. Next, I'm going to go to Brad Baldus, who has some information on the For the Families golf outing. Brad?
Thank you, Barb. I just wanted to say we had a successful 20th Rotary-sponsored For the Family golf outing, For the Families golf outing on Monday at Fink Pine Golf Course. All but one of our tee times filled up in this modified event from previous years, but better than last year when we did not have an event. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the participants, the golfers. We had many Rotarians golfing. We had many Rotarians volunteering, many Rotarians sponsoring and donating. And it was a great day. It was a little muggy, but it was not rainy. And I think everybody had a good time. So successful 20th event. And when we get all the numbers together, I'll share with the group what was totally raised. Hopefully we can add to our significant total from the past 19 years.
Great. Well, thank you, Brad, and thanks to you and your committee and everybody who worked on the event. It was actually a great day. Again, out at 6 o'clock, I was on the setup crew, and that was a lovely time of day to cruise around on a golf cart. So. Well, next is one of our funnest moments. It's a goat ride, everyone. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with it, when we have a new member, we ask them to ride the goat, and that means that they have 3 minutes and only 3 minutes to provide us with a little snapshot into their lives. So today we are going to hear from Tagba Dijatu Bugono. And now, Tagba, I want to warn you that I'm gonna press my timer on my phone. I'm gonna give you a notice at 1 minute, at 30 seconds, and when you see the red folder, you've got to stop. Okay?
Right.
Alrighty, take it away, Tagba.
Okay. So once again, good afternoon to all of you. As everybody already know, my name is Tagba Jatugono. I come from this little country called Togo, located in West Africa, right? Our primary language is French. As all of you can hear, I have a little bit of accent. So I first migrated in US back in 2012 with my wife. We have 3 children. So once we first got here, we were in New York. I stayed in New York for 4 years before moving to Iowa. So in New York, I got my first 2 daughters, and then just recently I have my last boy. He's 5. He was 5 months last week. So one other thing about me is that what I do, I work as a project planner at Tyson Food that you guys probably heard about. We are one of the biggest meat company in the United States. We do hogs, I say pork, chicken, and beef. And I work at one of our pork plants in Columbia Junction, right? And the other thing, I'm still schooling. I'm still in school. I'm actually doing my PhD in technology and innovation management. That's what I'm studying. Should be done by next year. By end of 2022, I should be done. Maybe graduating in early 2023. I think that's a little bit about me. What else? I only have one sibling, one junior brother. He lives in Senegal, which is another, country in West Africa. He's gonna be a medical doctor by the end of this year, and both our parents live still in Togo. Apart from that, I am very glad to be with this club. There's a lot of things that I think we share in common that I would like to do in the next years or in the future. Accomplish a lot of goals with Rotary Club. And once again, I'm happy to be here. Okay, so that'll be all.
Great, Tagba. You beat it with 30 seconds to spare. Well done.
I had to.
So the thing I love about Tagba is that he joined during COVID. He already volunteered for an event and he helped plant trees at Court Hill Park. And he even brought somebody to help us plant trees as well. So Tagba, we're thrilled to have you as a member of our club, and we look forward to more opportunities where you can help us do great work in our community.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
So next, I want to just call all of our members' attention to the most recent version of Rotary magazine. So maybe you haven't read this version yet, but one of our members, John Colshaw, is actually quoted in this episode where there is a 2-page spread on the LGBT Rotarians and Friends Fellowship. And so I've asked John just to share a minute or two about that fellowship. John?
Thanks, Barb. I appreciate having a minute to talk about the fellowship. So the LGBT Fellowship started about 4 years ago. I understand when someone said, why isn't there an LGBT group in Rotary at the international meeting? And that was the genesis of this group. So if you're not familiar with the fellowships in Rotary International, these are international groups whose members share common interests. And if you look at page 62 in that, look, Barb, I've got it too, in the same issue that Barb just mentioned, you'll see a full list of all of the different fellowships that are available in Rotary. And there are a ton of them, everything from 4x4 vehicles to yoga. And, if you're so inclined to partake of adult beverages, there are groups for beer, gin, rum, and whiskey. So there are plenty of things to keep everyone engaged with good people around the world. So the LGBT Fellowship has 196 members in 36 countries. And at this week's annual meeting, the fellowship is sponsoring a range of programming from the group's education, friendship, and service committees. There's a modest membership fee, $35 a year or $125 lifetime, and that helps to support scholarships for those who can't afford to join the fellowship, especially young people and those in other parts of the world. And, thinking about this fellowship and this group in particular, we've got plenty of struggles in this country around human rights issues. Trans individuals have been particularly vulnerable recently. And we've got to remember that it's much more difficult in other countries. LGBT communities are less visible, especially in the global South. And I've really enjoyed getting to know others from around the world. I'm assisting the fellowship with sending pins to new members. So like everything in Rotary, there's a pin to US members. and I hope there will be other ways to get involved in the future. So the fellowship is about helping one another and supporting one another, all while making Rotary and our communities more inclusive. And in that spirit, Mark Ruggeberg from the ICAM Club and we plan to work to coordinate a Rotary presence in Iowa City's Pride celebration, which will happen this fall. So stay tuned for that, for how you can get involved and march with us in the parade. And I'll just close and say Happy Pride Month, and thanks for listening, and thanks for your support. And thanks, Barb.
You bet, John. John, is there a webpage that people could go to learn more about that fellowship? And if so, could you put that link in the chat? That would be great.
Will do.
Awesome, thank you. Next, we will go to Diane Huber. Diane is going to provide for us our Rotary moment of gratitude and positivity. Diane?
Thank you, President Barb. Well, today we certainly all are grateful for the easing of the COVID pandemic restrictions and the medical miracle of the COVID vaccines. For those of you who do not know me, I'm a registered nurse who retired this January from the University of Iowa College of Nursing as a tenured full professor after 46 years in nursing and 38 years at the College of Nursing. This transition has sparked a more intense inner reflection on my past, the profession that has been my life's work, and on those who have had an impact on me. Here are 3 lessons I have learned. 1, gratitude is an attitude, meaning our attitude should be gratitude. Albert Schweitzer once said, quote, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has a cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us," unquote. The COVID-19 pandemic shined a spotlight on the antidote of gratitude and what we all can do to develop a mindset toward thankfulness and joy that are the foundation of gratitude. Like all of us, when COVID hit and we at Oakville went on lockdown, there was plenty of uncertainty, anxiety, and genuine fear of a deadly disease. At work, we pivoted immediately to online teaching, yet faced practical challenges with the mental and motivational realities of our students and colleagues in the clinical areas. This pandemic was and is a huge disruption for nurses, starting with the lack of personal protective equipment and the grief of losing so many patients whose families could not be there. My students needed intensive guidance and support. This occurred over lots of phone calls and emails, which quickly focused my attention on the need for the wisdom of the ages and the old saying, if not me, then who? I guess at my age, it was time for me to step up. How do we guide and support caregivers who are delivering care in difficult circumstances, including experiences of grief and exhaustion? So I drew from the well of healthcare knowledge and experience, such as lessons learned from the AIDS epidemic and the Ebola outbreak, as well as research and best practices, including from basic public health principles. I gathered stories of nurse-led innovations and resilience and focused on what nurses could do. I remembered the lessons of my earliest mentors when I launched into my own healthcare professional journey and how they solved problems. How grateful I was for this centering, which allowed me to adopt an attitude of gratitude despite the stress. Lesson 2, gratitude springs from the quality of human relationships. Alfred North Whitehead once said, quote, "No one who achieves success does so without the help of others. The wise and confident acknowledge this help with gratitude," unquote. COVID certainly made us pretty scared of any non-Zoom human interactions, those where we learn, grow, and take satisfaction from the dynamic of in-person, interpersonal interactions, like just talking to another human being face to face. Although the lockdown was a challenge for me, it seemed like my high extrovert friends and colleagues would suffer the most, and I worried about them. So I worked hard to find and distribute jokes and humorous cartoons. I had a rotating collection of them pasted up on my door at Oakville and received a lot of comments from staff and residents. Toilet paper humor started it all off. Then others also began sending along other memes and cartoons, and it became an ongoing effort. We were all in this together, and on the bad days, at least I got to laugh once a day. Humor provided an important quality to the relationships that I was immensely grateful for. In addition, I had undertaken a personal gratitude journey to contact my early mentors and friends who had made a huge difference in my life. I felt it important to communicate to them what it meant to me and how grateful I was for them in my life. Compliments and comments from students along the way had triggered this idea. Expressed appreciation for the help of others seems so important during COVID times. According to William Arthur Ward, quote, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it, unquote. Third lesson, gratitude quells the fires of fear and focuses the mind. Melanie Beatty once said, quote, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow, unquote. The fundamental trick of gratitude is to cherish and appreciate what one has, rather than focusing on what is missing or what is lost. Anthony Robbins once said, quote, when you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears, unquote. Gratitude is said to generate positivity, unlock the fullness of life, and turn what we have into enough. Sure, there were losses and tribulations during 2020, but the pivot to gratitude was sustaining, and the medical miracle of vaccines provided hope for brighter days. Now I intend to make gratitude a habit, because gratitude is an attitude that quells the fires of fear and anxiety and the feelings of hopelessness on dark and stressful days. From the wisdom of Willy Nelson, quote, when I started counting my blessings, my whole life turned around, unquote. Back to you, President Barb.
Thank you so much, Diane. That was great. I really love it. I do agree that gratitude is an attitude. And I love any Rotary moment where you're going to quote Willie Nelson. So, you know, right there. That's great. Thank you so much. And I do want to let all of our members know that in his presidency, Eric Weiler, our current president-elect, he believes he's going to continue with the Rotary moment of gratitude and positivity. So if you have not shared yours and you would like to do so, please reach out to Eric, because he'll be scheduling those. So next, we are ready to move on to our program, and I'm going to turn it over to Dimi Dureska, who will do the introduction of our speaker today. Dimi?
Thank you so much, President Barb. And it is such an honor, great pleasure to introduce Dr. Amy Kristof-Brown, the Dean of the Tippie College of Business. And so Amy was named Dean of the Tippie College of Business in 2020. She's an award-winning professor in management and entrepreneurship, and she also served as the Department Executive Officer, the Department of Management and Entrepreneurship. And she was also a Senior Associate Dean and Interim Dean. She joined the Tippie College in 1997. So her research interests focus on what we call employee company fit and work environments. She's also a fellow of the American Psychological Association and the Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology, co-editor of the book Organizational Fit, Key Issues and New Directions, and serve as past associate editor of Journal of Applied Psychology and Journal of Business and Psychology. So I can tell you personally, there is no better person that we could have had at the College of Business as our leader during the pandemic to navigate all the issues that we've gone through. And Amy really, step up and then make sure that things went very smoothly for all of us. And I can tell you, every Friday when I read her message, a message from the Dean every Friday, there's always something for me in that email. There's one time she sent one out and I replied to her personally. I said, Amy, it's like you were talking directly to me, saying, turn it off, go outside, enjoy the sun, and recharge your batteries and all of that. I think having someone with a human resource background as the head of the College of Business during this difficult time helped a lot. Personally, I can say that. So Amy, welcome, and please take it away.
Thank you so much, Dami. That is the thing that I am most grateful for, is the support of all of the folks who were my colleagues over the last couple of years, particularly these last 15 months. It has been a wild ride, and I could not have made it through it without them and their tremendous support. I will also share that I am grateful that Chuck Swanson is bringing American Ballet Theater on 4th of July to the Hampshire Green. I got my 8 tickets yesterday, We have our picnic basket packed and we're ready to roll. So I am grateful for that also. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and talk about, Barb, can you see that? Are we good? All right. I'm going to talk about the things that I am incredibly passionate about talking about, which is the Tippie College of Business. And I know that all of you know where we're located. We're here right in the middle of Iowa City, and many of you drive past our beautiful buildings every day, the Papa John Business Building, and also we have some offices in the Pomerantz Career Center and some additional offices for our entrepreneurship centers around town. But you may not know a lot of the details about us. And so that is one of the things I wanted to share a little bit with you today about is just what have we been up to? First, who are we? This is very much what we looked like over the last year with all of our students being masked. We ran about 30% of our classes in a face-to-face format, and that meant that all of these students and their faculty members came to class every day and sat in socially distanced ways and safely continued their learning progress over the last year. We are a premier business school. We are the #1 part-time MBA program in Iowa, the #1 undergraduate business program in Iowa, according to US News and World Report. How we stand nationally is solidly in the top 35. And we've got some areas of excellence that we are just really seeing emerge over the last few years. Our analytics program, this is the program, it used to be called Management Sciences, now it is Business Analytics. Patrick Fan is one of the outstanding faculty members in that particular department, and they have just been recognized with one of the most prestigious prizes that's offered, and that is the UPS George D. Smith Prize, and that is for the top analytics program in terms of preparing students for careers in operations and analytics. This is an outstanding, wonderful honor, and we're going to have some big celebrations of this coming up in the fall when we have our students back. We also have a tremendous group in finance. They have some very strong experiential opportunities. They have recently been named as the #1 graduate investment fund. We have something called the Henry Fund, which are a group of graduate students who make recommendations for portfolio management. And they, over the past year, had an 11.59% alpha over the S&P 500 index. So I'm still working on ways to try and get my investments to align with the Henry Fund because they are doing better than almost anybody out there. We have a tremendous insurance center, the Vaughan Institute of Risk Management and Insurance, which has been named a Global Center of Insurance Excellence. So some truly outstanding areas that we are incredibly proud of, and hopefully you will continue to hear more about them over the next couple of months. By our numbers, we have about 3,000 undergraduate business students. We also have about 1,000 pre-business students who have entered the university and indicated that they would like to join the Tippie College of Business. We have about 1,600, almost probably for fall, 1,700 graduate students, and those are in a variety of programs, MBA, Masters of Business Administration, Masters of Science programs in specialty disciplines, and also our PhD program. So Tagba, if you're interested in getting a second PhD, you know where to come and talk to us. We also teach a variety of students in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences in what's called the Enterprise Leadership Program. And this is really entrepreneurship education. And Demi Dureska has been very involved in this as well, working with the students who are learning and taking their liberal arts background into small and medium-sized businesses. And then we also provide the instruction for the economics programs across the University of Iowa. In College of Business and also in the College of Liberal Arts. We're one of the largest employers in town. We have 136 permanent faculty and 108 permanent staff. We're always hoping to add to those numbers, so please keep us in mind as you're looking for opportunities in town. In terms of our alumni, which Barb Thomas does a tremendous job of managing and working with and reaching out to and engaging, we have 54,000 of them, with 20,000 of them living currently in the state of Iowa. Who am I? This is me with Henry Tippie, one of my favorite folks. I'm really looking forward to getting to go down to Austin and talk with him and meet with him in person in the end of June. I came here directly from the University of Maryland, where I received my PhD in organizational behavior and human resource management. That was back in 1997. And the first time I stepped off the plane in Iowa was my job interview here. And I went back and told my family, I think it'd be a great place to start a career, but I couldn't imagine living there long term. And the folks from here just kind of laughed and said, we'll just see. I think you're going to love it here. And so I have absolutely become an Iowa transplant. And mostly it's because the state slogan of fields of opportunities is absolutely true. At no point have I ever found better opportunities for growth and personal enrichment than I found here in Iowa in the Tippie College. I worked as a regular faculty member for a number of years, and then I started taking on leadership positions. I directed our PhD program for a number of years in management, then became the department chair, the senior associate dean, who basically manages all of the faculty and operations in the college. And then I stepped in as the interim dean on the exciting day of March 1st, 2020, which was 12 days before we closed everything down on campus and sent everyone home. So it was a wild ride for most of 2020. And I was thrilled to be able to accept the position of permanent dean on December 1st of 2020. What do we do here in the college every day? We have 4 primary goals that drive everything that we do. Our first is to advance holistic student success, and that is has a number of components to it. And mostly we do it through our innovative and supportive programs offered by our staff and our faculty. And I'll talk about that in a moment. We are also a premier research institution. We're one of the few AAU institutions, which means we are an R1 Carnegie classification as a research enterprise in addition to being a university. And so we are always interested in continuing to grow that reputation for strong research that has an impact, makes a difference in the world, because it attracts better faculty and better students to come through our doors. We're also very, very interested in connecting our students, faculty, staff, alumni, employers, and businesses to create lasting relationships and long-term value. This is an area that I think is one of my primary goals in terms of creating stronger outreach. It's one of the reasons that I'm here speaking with you today, so that you know a little bit more about what we do and find ways that we can partner with you to help you accomplish your goals and objectives. And then our last, but certainly not least, primary goal is to create and sustain an inclusive and equitable environment for our students, our faculty, and our staff in the Tippie College. In terms of student success, we have a number of initiatives that we've put forth to try and make sure that our students have the best possible opportunities in front of them. We created a program called Tippie Rise, which means that every one of our graduating students has an experience in either doing research with a faculty member, doing an internship where they have real world work experiences, working for companies. They study abroad, so they take themselves into an environment almost always physically into that environment, but over the last year, Demi Dureska was tremendously helpful at lining up virtual study abroad opportunities for students. And then finally, an experiential opportunity, which means that they're working in a classroom environment, but they're working with corporate or nonprofit partners that come in and bring projects that the students can get real world experience doing. Those are all what we know that research shows are the most transformative experiences for students. And now we guarantee that every student graduating from the Tippie College has one of those experiences. Many of the students stay and continue to try to add on experiences. And I think in this last graduation, we had several students graduating with 4 or even 5 of these RISE experiences. Over the last year and a half, we've added an embedded mental health counselor. We know that student mental health, whether it is anxiety, depression, or any of the other issues, which are really quite trying for students of college age, we want to make sure that they have the best possible support. So we've brought a mental health counselor that works with our university counseling services, but is actually located here in the Tippie College of Business. And she serves only our student body, making sure that they're getting all the resources that they need. We've also generated a number of new programs aimed at bringing in students who may not traditionally think about careers in business. And our BizEdge and our Gateway programs are really directed towards our first generation college students, as well as racial and ethnic minority students. Our outcomes, we are very proud of. Our 4-year graduation rates are at about 76%. We'd love to see that up just a little bit, but as I said, many of our students stay for an extra semester and they take additional RISE experiences, which keeps them here a little longer. Our 6-year graduation rate, which includes everybody who graduated from 4 years to 6, is at 92%, which is just tremendous and one of the highest across the university. Our placement rate in terms of jobs, perhaps not surprisingly for a College of Business, is also outstanding. Our students are well equipped to take on very important and meaningful work responsibilities when they leave our doors. In terms of our undergraduate programs, we offer degrees in accounting, business analytics, economics, finance, management and entrepreneurship, and also marketing. For our liberal arts students who we often spend time with in classrooms, as I mentioned, enterprise leadership, which is entrepreneurship and focus, and also economics. And then we offer certificate programs, which is a collection of courses for students in any major across campus. And we offer those in entrepreneurial management, international business, and risk management and insurance. Our graduate programs, as I said, we have almost 1,700 graduate students. Many of them are working professionals. In fact, the largest portion of our students are working professionals working on their MBAs in either Cedar Rapids, Des Moines, or the Quad Cities, or recently introduced in the fall of 2019, they can take the entire MBA program in a fully online format. And so I'll show you in just a moment some of the growth of that program. But it is really an opportunity to open our doors to people who maybe don't have access to drive into one of our 3 physical locations and continue to add to their skill set. We offer an executive MBA program for people who are further along in their careers and simply don't have the time to come back and do a 2-year or 3-year program. So they do it in a very truncated form of 16 months. They do intensive weekend workshops, working with faculty members and business leaders and networking across the state of Iowa. So this fall, we're very, very excited to bring back a cohort of executive students. And for the first time, we are bringing together students from the Iowa City area and the Des Moines area to work together in one cross Iowa cohort. So we're super excited about the changes to that program as well. And we are looking at offering opportunities for students from the nonprofit sector and also state agencies who may not normally have the resources to step into an executive program. We are looking at generating some funding opportunities for scholarships for those types of students to again broaden the networking opportunities. We offer certificate programs for students who may not be interested in doing a full or making a commitment to a full degree program. So you can come back and simply take 5 courses in leadership or 5 courses in the business fundamentals. It's a very short commitment to that type of program, but often we see that students get really excited about what those classes have to offer, and then they translate it into a larger degree. We also offer specialty masters in 3 areas. In our part-time program, we offer business analytics, and for full-time students who tend to be a little bit younger and are coming straight through from their undergraduate degree or maybe have only been out for a year, we offer those programs in accounting, business analytics, and finance. And we have started some tremendous articulation agreements in our Masters of Finance program so that now students coming directly to us from a variety of Iowa undergraduate institutions can come directly into our Masters of Finance program. So that's a great partnership across the state. Our off-campus footprint in 2021 in the state of Iowa is quite pervasive. There's still a couple of counties in northwestern Iowa that we would like to get into a little bit more. But as you can see, our highest concentration of students are located around our Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Davenport, and Des Moines locations. When we introduced our online MBA program in the fall of 2019, our anticipated enrollment in that program was about 40 students starting in the fall, 40 students starting in the spring, and 40 again in the summer. Our hope was that we could offer this program to bring in students from some of these areas where it's not truly convenient for them to drive to come into one of our physical locations 1 or 2 nights a week. And that was our hope, to be able to have better outreach through the state of Iowa and beyond. Partly due to COVID and partly due to the tremendous interest in this program, this is what has happened nationwide to our enrollments in our online MBA program. We are now in almost every state in the country. We're looking for some people from Louisiana. So please, if you know anybody, send them our way. We've got a couple of states to break into, but we have students absolutely all over the country. And now we're starting all over the world as well. Doing an online MBA program is a great way to further your skill set and not have to be constrained to being here in Iowa. It's very flexible. The curriculum is exactly the same as what we offer in our face-to-face format. And we've gotten really very, very good at online instruction over the last 15 months. In terms of engagement, we are a partner. We want to be a partner with all of you. We bring in business professionals all the time to work with our students. Often we tap into their expertise through our advisory boards. We have over 200 individuals serving on advisory boards throughout the college, and we bring in almost that many classroom guest speakers every year. And actually, Barb Thomas is a wonderful person to connect with if you are interested in coming in and speaking in any of our classes. And then we are also, as I mentioned, focusing on experiential opportunities for students. And often that comes through student consulting projects. So if you have a project that maybe is on your, gee, I'd like to get to it list, but I haven't had enough time, that's a perfect kind of project for a student group to dive into. And we will partner you with a faculty member who will work with the students and make sure that they're providing you with great insights on your particular business question. Our JPEC, which is our John Papa John Entrepreneurial Center, has tremendous outreach throughout the state. Almost $500,000 in seed funding to Iowa entrepreneurs just in the last year. Over 800 small businesses supported in the history of JPEC. And we also have tremendous teacher training programs in entrepreneurship across the country. One of our significant new outreach programs has been our Tippie Leadership Collaborative. Their vision is to promote the success and well-being of individuals, organizations, and communities in Iowa and beyond. And they do that by tapping into the research expertise of the faculty that we have here to help you solve business problems. These are some of the areas in which we have tremendous expertise, leading with vision, teamwork, engagement. I want to particularly highlight remote and virtual work. The faculty member I have highlighted here is Dan Newton. He is a faculty member in management who actually came to us with a grant from NASA, and he studies astronauts working in the space station. So in terms of remote work, they're about as remote as you can get, and he's got some fantastic research in that area, which we are now leveraging to be able to provide insights into how to manage remote and hybrid workforces. How we can share this expertise with you in many, many ways. One of the things that Barb and her team have been tremendously involved with over the last year is creating a series of webinars. And these webinars are typically an hour long, could be an hour and a half if we have a panel of folks. And they focus in on specific topics that may be of usefulness to you. One of our most popular webinars was the topic of toxic bosses, and that was offered by one of our faculty members, Stephen Courtwright. He's just got tremendous insight into these issues, and I think right now that video has been watched over 500 times, and we had about 250 people who attended the webinar. So apparently there are a lot of people interested in the topic of toxic bosses. We can also provide expert faculty speakers to come in and speak at any of your organizational events. So if you want someone to come in and talk about remote work, to talk about diversity and inclusion, or how to improve teamwork, we have folks who can come in and do that. If you have a challenging business problem that you'd like us to really put more than just a student team on, but actually pull together a faculty member to come in and work with you on, we can absolutely do that as well. And we've got some great research partnerships set up in our community now with some corporate partners. It's tremendously helpful to us, I'll be honest, as a faculty member who studies people at work. What's really important is being able to have access to people at work. And so we have a great opportunity to bring our expertise to your company while also helping for you to help provide us with data that we can use to gain new insights in how to best work with people. And finally, we can offer customized executive education programs that will help support your organizational goals. That could be a 1 or a 2-day process. We have some companies that we've worked with where we come in 6 times a year and offer day-long programs for their executive teams and their leadership teams that they're developing. So many, many different ways that we can partner with you, and we're happy to have those conversations. Our goal is that we are a lifelong leadership development partner for you and for your companies. We know that the opportunity that undergraduates have with us is short. It is 4 years. If you come back for a graduate degree, you might have another year or 18 months with us, but your learning and the requirements of your jobs continue to go up every year. And so we want to make sure that we're providing the opportunity to be there with you at every stage along the way and offer you the resources that you need to continue to develop. And we love when students come back, and in our online program, we have people who say, I got my undergraduate degree at Tippie, or my brother-in-law got his undergraduate degree at Tippie, and now I'm so excited that I can continue learning with you. That is my presentation about the Tippie College of Business. I'm happy to answer questions. Barb, I think there are 9 minutes left in your meeting. I don't know how many of those are for me, but I'll let you make those decisions. You're on mute right now. There we go.
Most of the time in these meetings, I'm not. So we have about 7 minutes. So we do have time. Amy, if you'd like to stop sharing your screen, that way we can see you. If anybody has a question, feel free to raise your hand from the reaction tab. I'm sure we'd love to hear those questions. Let me just see if anyone, let's see, Chuck Swanson has a question. Chuck?
Well, first of all, Amy, what a great presentation. And secondly, I just want to say I'm so glad you're the permanent dean. I'm glad the university. So you fire me up. I mean, all these things that are all about, you know, collaborations and partnerships and student success. I've always said we need to work together. So we have to follow up on that. And I look at, you know, your involvement with alumni, and I would love to find some way to do some program, and we can help you in Northwest Iowa. We've got some great relationships up there. But more than anything, I'd love to think about ways that we can create engagement with students where they can leave here and remember that for a lifetime. So we'll get together with Barb and we'll cook up something.
I love it.
I enjoyed it a lot.
That's wonderful. I love working with you, Chuck, and I enjoy everything that you do here through Hampshire. And I think any ways that we can bring together business and the performing arts and create exciting opportunities for students and for the community, I'm 100% for it.
Great. Thank you.
Again, please feel free to raise your hand if you have any questions. Amy, maybe just talk about what are the biggest challenges? You know, we hear a lot about finances, you know, for the average business person. We hear about state tuition, we hear about legislative issues. Financially, what are some of the largest challenges for college?
Demi got a new puppy. Some of the challenges that we face in the college, obviously we don't want to be raising tuition all the time on students because that places a large burden on families. but we continue to want to do more and to offer more for our students. And that only comes with additional faculty and additional staff. And so we need to make sure that we're keeping up with being able to provide a very good environment for our faculty and staff, and creative and innovative programs. And we can't always do that on the back of tuition. State appropriations tend to go down to higher education institutions over the years. And so we know that that's also not where we're going to look for future funding opportunities. We know they're a key part of what we do, but we have to be able to do more. And so we do rely on private support, and sometimes that comes through individuals, sometimes it comes through corporations. Kelly Drown, another person who's on the call today, has been doing a lot of work with corporations and thinking about what kind of organizational funding could we bring in. When we're a great partner with companies, they see value in what we do. And so generating resources from new and unique places so that it doesn't continue to fall only in tuition is something that we're always challenged with. I'd say our other biggest challenge is we know that there's a demographic shift coming over the next couple of years where the number of undergraduate students is going to be going down across the board. And so we will have fewer high school graduates to tap into as future Tippie students. So we will be looking outside the state of Iowa as well as inside the state to make sure that we're reaching audiences maybe that we haven't reached previously. So convincing students in other states to come to Iowa and why we have some great things to offer, but also taking a look at students in Iowa who may not have thought about a career in business. And that's where our gateway programs come into play, talking about students whose families didn't go to college, but talking to them about why it is the #1 investment that you can make for your future earning success is to come to a place like Tippie. And so we want to be reaching out and making sure that those students know that we have a great pathway for them to move forward. Those, I would say, are our biggest challenges.
Great, thank you. So it looks like we have a question from EMBA alum, Linda Farkas. Linda?
Hi there.
Hi, Linda.
Hi there. I've enjoyed your talk a lot today. And what I'm interested in, they come and get me every once in a while to help mentor students. And I've had the opportunity to mentor some students who have children. Is there any, when you're growing your program, any sort of an infrastructure? Because I find that their needs are so basic, but trying to struggle with college and kids. Is there any infrastructure being formed with you or with the university to help out people who maybe have children, maybe single parents or married with children?
That's a great question. That doesn't tend to be one of the groups that we specifically focus on. We do tend to have an undergraduate population that is typically in the 18 to 24-year-old range, but we know that what we would call non-traditional students, particularly a lot of veterans that we get coming back to the University of Iowa, that they do have a different set of needs. And so as we're starting to expand our programming and our support services, whether it's through mental health, whether it's through communication and writing skill development, or other kinds of financial support, could be food insecurity, could be childcare. All of those types of things are new and emerging needs that we understand are starting to become quite relevant as people are trying to stay with a program. Not surprisingly, the Tippie College is a challenging, very rigorous academic program. And so it is, it's too easy for students to fall off the track because their challenges have become too difficult, whether it's financial or life related. And so our advisors work extremely closely with those students to find out, you know, what are the pressures that you're facing? How can we intervene and be helpful? So I think the move to some remote work, some hybrid work, all of that is going to be actually very helpful for us understanding those needs a little bit more. Frankly, we haven't been really great about understanding the family needs of our staff and faculty in the past. And I think we're trying to become better at that, but also continuing to offer programs that help support those families and those students in whatever way their needs are emerging. So thank you for highlighting that need in particular on the young childcare side, because I think that is a critical issue for many of our students. And it's getting to be more every day as we pursue those non-traditional students.
Thank you.
Great. Well, Amy, I want to thank you for taking the time today and talking to us. I want to remind all of our members that there's a lot of information in the chat that you may want to take advantage of as well. Amy, in honor of you speaking to our club today, our club will actually make a donation to Rotary International's Polio Plus program.
Terrific.
That donation is actually matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and will provide 70 vaccines around the world. So
love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. So thank you for the opportunity to be here. I love talking with all of you. I love seeing familiar faces. Jim and Jan down, it's good to see both of you. See you back at church soon. Great to see everyone. Thanks for having me here today.
Great. And thanks to everyone for joining us today. If there's no other business before the club, then I just ask Devin to put up the slide if you can for the 4-way test. And I encourage you all to, you can feel free to unmute your microphones and we can all together try to recite the 4-way test. Of the things that we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill, better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you all for being here today. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday and we will see you back here next week.
Adios.
Good to see you, Gary. And a twin. We got to see a twin.
Oh, is there a twin?
Yeah, one of them.
A slightly grumpy twin. Eloise, oh my. Yeah.
Nice.
See ya.
They're so cute.
Yeah.
Thank you.